I cut out all unnecessary parts when editing my videos to save viewers time. I know their time is valuable, so every minute must deliver real value. That same mindset is what drives how I built this AppSheet system. No clutter, no noise, just the tools to help people work faster and with clarity. Back then, my company managed orders using Google Sheets. It worked fine when there were only a few, but once we reached hundreds of lines, things got slow, unresponsive, and frankly, frustrating. Data was cluttered everywhere. Even items we didn't produce still showed up. Each person used the sheet differently. One used column A, another used column B, but it was the same file, so any edit could mess up someone else's work. No access control, anyone could see and edit anything, which made it easy to lose data. Right pointing arrow. That's why I started building with AppSheet. How I designed the data architecture. I designed this part together with GPT. Every table and every field was reviewed and refined through AI, based on my real-world manufacturing experience and structured management thinking. As a result, the app's structure fits the actual operations while remaining scalable and adaptable. Orders manages general information such as customer, product, paint color, and status. I divided the system into 3 main tables. Orders manages general information such as customer, product, paint color, and status. Process tracks specific production steps like cutting, welding, and painting, each with an assigned person, start, end dates, and quantities. Why not put everything into a single table? Because each part has its own logic, its own data, its own timeline, and different access levels. Separating them makes the system easier to manage, easier to assign permissions, and much more scalable. Now I'll add these data tables into AppSheet. I go to Data, select Add New Data, then choose Add Table Orders, and click Add to App. At this point, AppSheet will automatically detect the table structure and load the data into the app. I continue by adding the remaining 2 tables, Process and Drawings. Again, go to Data, choose Add Table Process, click Add to App, then repeat the same for Drawings. Once all 3 tables are added, the system is ready for me to define the relationships between them.
Sorry for the sudden change in voice. Due to a technical issue, I had to switch. I changed the product code column to ref and set the source table to products. So I can retrieve the customer data based on the product code by using the lookup function in the app formula. The syntax is lookup value dataset column return column, meaning it searches for the given value in the specified column of the dataset and returns the corresponding value from the return column. In the formula lookup product code, drawings, product code, customer, here's how to read it. The first product code is inside square brackets, because it's a column from the current table, orders. The other 3 elements are in double quotes, because they refer to the table name and column names from another table, in this case, the drawings table. Important. If you write it wrong, like using product code instead of product code AppSheet, won't even let you save the formula, not just fail at runtime. So getting this right from the start saves a lot of back and forth troubleshooting. I renamed the sales channel column in the orders table to location, matching the column name in the products table for consistency and easier reference. Using consistent naming across tables makes it easier to write formulas and enables smoother data linking. After updating the table structure, I click the Regenerate Schema button so that AppSheet can sync the new columns from Google Sheets correctly. This step is required. Without it, the app may show errors or miss some columns. I copied the formula from the customer column to location, and simply changed the last part of the formula from customer to location. I did the same for the sales column. Since the sales column now uses a formula, I changed its type from ref to text. As for location, I kept it as enum, so I can easily filter orders later into 2 separate views, domestic and export. In the next part, I'll test the system, and you'll see that once I pick the correct product code, everything flows in automatically. That's why I say, when your structure is right, the system starts working for you. The status column is configured with the enum data type to allow users to select from predefined values, ensuring data consistency and preventing input errors. The enum values used are new, in progress, completed, canceled, on hold. The meaning of each status is as follows. New, The order has just been created and has not yet been processed. In progress. The order is currently being worked on. Completed. The order has been completed. Cancelled. The order has been cancelled and will not be processed further. On hold. The order is temporarily paused and awaiting further processing. In order management, the need for clear data classification is crucial to speed up processing and optimize workflows. Especially when a business handles both export and domestic orders, mixing the data can cause difficulties in tracking, reporting, and decision-making. Therefore, I will create 2 separate slices for the orders. 1 slice for export orders. 1 slice for domestic orders. Each slice will filter out the appropriate group of data, making the management interface clearer and facilitating the creation of separate reports for each group. To create a slice for orders, I will first go to the Data section in the application. Here, I move the cursor over the Orders table, then click the plus sign to add a new slice for data filtering. Next, I select Create a new slice for the Orders table. At this step, I will name the slice. For example, I will name it Export. After that, I select the Data Filter Condition section. I click on Create a new formula to start setting up the filter condition for this slice. At this point, we will enter the formula into the formula box. In this case, to filter export orders, I will enter the following formula. Location equals export. Explanation of the formula. Location refers to the delivery location column in the orders table. It must be enclosed in square brackets so that the system recognizes it as a column reference. Export. This is the text value to be compared, and it must be enclosed in double quotation marks. To create a slice for domestic orders, I choose to duplicate the existing slice. Then, I rename the slice to domestic. I also modify the formula by changing export to domestic. After completing the data setup for both export and domestic orders, I proceeded to create user-friendly views for easy access. I navigated to UX to Views, selected Add New View under the Primary Navigation section, where frequently accessed views are organized. I created the first view and named it Export. In the Data Source section, I selected the Export Orders slice. For the view type, I chose Table, ideal for displaying lists of data, allowing users to easily filter, sort, and review information, similar to the familiar Excel format. I then repeated the same steps to create the domestic view, based on the domestic orders slice. After completing the setup for both export and domestic order interfaces, I proceeded to review the system. When evaluating, I applied the PDCA philosophy. PDCA is a well-known quality management cycle consisting of 4 steps: plan, do, check, and act. This philosophy demands that from the very first plan step, we aim for the highest level of standardization possible. At the same time, it acknowledges that in real-world execution, certain imperfections may arise, and our responsibility is to continuously inspect, detect issues early, and act swiftly to improve. Right from the initial design phase, I aim to standardize the system. However, in actual deployment, there will always be minor details that the initial plan could not fully anticipate. The key is not to avoid them, but to proactively review, identify problems quickly, and make precise adjustments. I never accept the mindset of doing things carelessly and fixing them later. Every step must aim to be correct from the start, but with ongoing checks and continuous improvements, and that is the true spirit of PDCA. In the current interface, I notice the following points. First, the orders do not yet display product images. This makes it difficult for production and order verification, especially for export orders where multiple product versions look very similar. Second, there is no linked technical drawing for each order. The absence of technical drawings significantly increases the risk of errors during production and fabrication. Third, the paint color field currently only shows the color visually without displaying the specific color name. This could easily lead to misunderstandings when communicating internally or with customers. However, for this video, I have decided not to address the paint color improvement yet, because adding too many elements at once would make the video too long and distract from the main focus. I'll cover this topic in a future video. Stay tuned. I open the Google Sheet to update the new data for the application. I click on View Data Source to access the original dataset. Here, I copy 2 columns, Product Image and Drawing Link, from the Products table into the Orders table. Then, I click Regenerate Structure in AppSheet to sync the changes and refresh the app's data structure. Now, I will copy the lookup formula from the Customer column and apply it to the two new columns, Product Image and Drawing Link. This allows the system to automatically fetch data based on the product code and fill in the image and drawing information in the orders table. Now, let me share the method for storing and editing technical drawings, as I promised earlier. First, in AppSheet, you must set the drawing field as a URL type, not as a file. This way, you can open and edit drawings directly through a web browser without downloading them. Second, install Google Drive and sync it with your account. Third, share the folder containing the drawings on Google Drive so that all relevant team members can easily access and view the files. Fourth, after syncing, pin the drawings folder, both on Google Drive and on your local computer to make saving and accessing drawings more convenient. Fifth, install the Lumen PDF add-on for the Chrome browser. This tool allows you to open and edit PDF drawings directly in the browser without having to download the files. I have updated the data type of the drawing column in the products table to URL. For minor adjustments like this, I will handle them silently without mentioning them in future videos. My goal is to keep the videos as concise as possible and focus only on the key content to save your valuable time. Drawing management and editing process. As soon as I receive a drawing, I save it directly into a folder on my computer that is synchronized with Google Drive. This allows me to copy the drawing link directly from my computer without needing to manually access Google Drive. I then attach the drawing and its image to the product record within the system. All associated links are automatically synchronized with the order management tables, ensuring real-time and consistent data across platforms. When needed, I can open the drawing from multiple interfaces, product listings, domestic order sheets, or export order sheets. The key advantage is that any edits made to the drawing are automatically saved to the original file, no downloads or re-uploads required. This process enables fast, accurate, and highly convenient drawing management. This method ensures that I never accidentally send an outdated drawing to the production team. No more asking, "Where's the latest file?" and no more trying to remember which folder the drawing was saved in. If you're managing hundreds of technical drawings, this is a simple but extremely effective approach. I believe many people may have overlooked this detail, but once you apply it, you'll realize how much time you save and how many risks you avoid. I also want to share a key principle we strictly follow in my company. We absolutely do not redraw technical drawings once the customer has approved the PDF file. Why is that? Because even a tiny deviation during redrawing can lead to significant errors, especially when dimensions, specifications, and visual details are not perfectly transferred. Our engineers may create 3D models, generate CNC cutting files, but for production, we always use the original approved PDF as the official reference. This is a lesson I've learned from 17 years working in maintenance, engineering, and quality departments at a Japanese company, where even the smallest mistake could severely damage our reputation. If the engineering department creates the wrong cutting file, the QC team will immediately detect it, because QC always cross-checks against the original approved PDF, not a newly redrawn version. This approach allows our system to maintain extremely effective cross-verification and error control. Many people look at this system and assume that I simply know how to build apps. But in reality, every table and every formula is part of a much bigger solution: building a system that can operate independently, scale effectively, and control cash flow. This is how a technician thinks like a manager, and how a manager thinks like an investor. That is the true foundation of building wealth. I don't use multi-million-dollar ERP systems. ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning, a comprehensive system that manages a company's resources such as human resources, production, finance, and supply chain. Most large ERP systems are extremely expensive and complicated to implement. Instead, I use AppSheet, combined with proper manufacturing thinking, to build my own custom system. Today, my orders are no longer static Excel files. They have become a living system that operates continuously and can easily scale as the business grows. Each order is standardized not just to make execution easier, but also to make it easier to delegate, to monitor, and to scale the entire operation. When you control your order flow, you control your cash flow. When you control your processes, you no longer need to be physically present 24/7. Freedom comes from systems, and building your system starts here, with AppSheet. If you're operating a made-to-order manufacturing business, this is the kind of system you need. This is just the beginning. In the next video, I'll show you how to turn every order into a powerful profit engine, automated, accurate, and scalable. Don't miss it.